This episode of Skirmish Supremacy is brought to you by Reformation Brewery, the official beer of your game night.
Shots fired.
He's not wrong.
Hey,
This
it
does
still
look
has
really
its
douchey.
moments. It has its moments. It's got its reason.
There's the fanboy.
No, I'm just happy to play anything I can.
They're on the right path.
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
They've doubled back to somewhat to the good graces they were like 1987.
Yeah, it's a
It took them-
press doing all
Took
that
them 30
douchebag
years. Yeah,
They've been pissing people off.
I don't know. I just searched for Necromunda and nothing's coming up that's new. So
you got a couple months before some new Necromunda stuff.
yeah.
what-
I think they're gonna tease. They're gonna trickle that out.
So
Didn't they? I just saw spruce shots of the Morlock clan or gang.
Yeah, they're next, and then the few other. They're going to do like a one a month or one every 2 months kind of release for those, I think.
Kind of like
Makes
Blood Bowl,
sense.
right?
Yeah.
It
there's-
looks more like
there's a couple-
it looks more like Space Hulk now, though.
Well, it depends on
Yeah.
which version you're kind of playing, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got the 2D and the 3D rules. So the 2D rules are what come with the box, Anton, and then you can buy the book, an additional book to play the 3D rules. So
Yeah, but those
it's,
3D rules are not enough to play an actual game.
Oh,
That's
really?
the kicker. Yeah, you still need the actual boxed
Ooh.
kit.
That's some
you
shit.
you still need the core rules to play the game.
Yeah, I learned that one the hard way.
And they're like $100.
In theory, they'll release a separate rule book, but believe it when I see it.
So I'm only seeing that I don't even know if they're Goliaths, but they look like Goliaths. Where are all the other fucking...
Yeah, they're guys.
Yeah.
There's Goliaths and there's Eschers right now.
Oh, that's all they're doing right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right now
That's all
that's
there
all.
is so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the Forge World released a bounty hunter. They've previewed 3 other bounty hunters. White Dwarf will release a bounty hunter gang, a Gene Stealer cult, a Chaos cult. So you'll see rules for those at some point in time.
Okay.
And they'll eventually release the official gangs with everything. And then they're going to do a couple of different source books or expansion books.
I mean, it's never going to get to the point where there was like a Necromunda magazine. It's never going to be like that again.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So take what you can get, is what I say.
No more Inferno.
Though
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I have seen some of the theories out there that some of their one-off games that they've been doing over the last year or two are all kind of in preparing and testing things out that they will put into Necromunda to so that way they have the one-off games, and if they did badly they were like, well, fuck it, we don't care, it was a one-off
Right.
game,
Yeah.
and we don't fuck up Necromunda when we send it out. So
those that like gangs of I can never pronounce the Dark Eldar city, but Kamara or whatever.
that,
Was that-
yeah, that, and then what is it? The kill team one or whatever.
Oh yeah, with the scouts versus.
Whatever.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
Which a lot of people were way into that. And what's funny is they were way into it for the terrain, and then they come out with Necromunda.
which has
With
none.
terrain.
It was that, that is
I-
that is
like,
the most
I-
astoundingly bad move that I think that they could have done.
Yeah, because people were buying the kill team stuff just straight up to be they wanted the terrain. They thought it was a good value, but maybe I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe the
that's
price of
just like
plastic went
that's just like releasing the Renegade box that had the 2 Titans in it,
Oh,
and 2 or 3 pieces of terrain for $130. A normal knight is like $130.
Yeah.
So you got like a shitload of value out of that box. And people were buying them left and right just for those pieces of terrain. And like even look at Gangs of Cormorant. That actually was all the heavy duty cardboard.
Mm-hmm.
Would have made sense to keep going with that one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a Dark Eldar fan, so I would love anything more Dark Eldar themed, released. But
Just go full Slanesh.
No.
I have a Slanesh.
I stopped at Nipple Piercing.
I actually built a Slanesh army to fight my Dark Eldar army.
Oh yeah. Was it like Hellraiser fanfic at that point?
They were all just cutting and fucking each other.
Cutting and fucking each other. Well, on that note, we have been recording.
Nice.
Hi, everybody.
And that's the intro. And they were just all cutting and fucking each other.
Stop now.
Episode what? 100?
This is 100. Episode 100.
Whoa,
the episode
really?
about cutting and fucking each other.
What?
Super happy to share this one with my mother.
Look,
Yeah.
Mom, I was
Mom.
on a podcast. We don't talk about cutting and fucking each other.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just go straight into we got the rights for Fatal, the skirmish game, and it's going to be fantastic.
I mean, I figured it was only a matter of time before Matt started mentioning that.
Yeah, Fatal
he
or
just
Gore.
fucking
Fatal or
threw it out
Gore.
there.
My favorite author is John Norman. All right, so we're doing
man.
this, huh?
We are.
Okay.
We've got the crazy group from Hyacinth Games on the show tonight.
Hey.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, so I suppose we should go right along and say who everybody is. Obviously, you heard Nick. You've heard myself. Robin's actually on the show tonight. Everybody say hi to Robin.
Hey,
Hey, Robin.
folks.
He is looking very dwarfy tonight.
Hey, you know what? I can't help it. I got a beard.
It's a killer beard. You should be proud of that thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. It actually, in April, it will be 20 years old.
Damn.
Nah.
But something seems to have happened over the holidays or something. It grew a whole bunch. It all of a sudden just all I can think of is the Santa. Where the beard would just
Just flow out. Yeah,
Wait,
no,
the
it
Santa
gives you my
Santa
magical
Claus
The Chia Pet?
with the
Yeah,
guy from Home Improvement.
Yeah,
That movie is a piece of shit. My mom was putting on
They made
all these holiday movies over the holidays, and then we sat down. That was on, and we turned to each other and we were like, "This is maybe the worst holiday movie we've ever seen." My mom's like, "Yeah, it's bumming me out." Like she was totally in the spirit until the Santa Claus came on.
You guys didn't sit through 2 and 3 then, I take it.
I didn't know there was a second and
They
third one.
made
Thanks for
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, maybe next Christmas.
Congratulations, you completely ruined Christmas for him.
Well,
Yeah.
now I know what I'm buying Matt for Christmas.
You're just gonna go to every truck stop on December 21st until you find Santa Claus 2 and 3.
I was going to go on December 27th so I can get them on discount.
That's well.
Smart man.
100% off. Just take it.
All right, so so I'm sorry. I'm Matt.
And I'm John, the one that cuts and fucks.
And I'm Anton.
Yeah, follow that, Anton.
Yeah, follow that.
Anton, that was so boring.
What are you going to do? Can't shock you all the time.
Anton has a gun fetish.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with
John has all of the rest of the fetishes.
He's been trying to get Anton to expand or at least bring toys, and
Yeah, if you ask me to bring toys, I show up with a completely different bag of stuff.
the term "little men are important to you" is a totally different phrase than when I say it, or maybe not.
Could be the same thing. You never know until you start talking about it.
Yeah, right.
Oh shit!
So
Well, we now know who came up with the Church of Fun.
I guess maybe we should actually talk about why they came on. I mean, I know. Last episode I was talking about maybe branching out a little bit from just the almost cookie cutter format that we've had for a little bit now. But wow,
Yeah,
I think I'm going back to the cookie cutter.
Well, I feel like this happens pretty much every time with us, so I don't think it's you. I think it's us.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me. Oh, gotcha.
It's a little you.
It's a little me.
Yeah.
I mean, I showed you that in private. That was it was a Snapchat. You aren't supposed to tell other people about it.
So you're saying you're not supposed to screenshot those?
10 seconds and it's gone forever.
next time.
Just like my sex life.
Oh.
Bum, bum. So, how's everybody?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome.
I mean, doing good now.
Is this really the 100th episode? It's a
Yeah.
great
This
achievement.
is episode 100.
This is
Wow, triple digits.
That is so.
You guys aren't burnt out yet.
No, it's funny. We talked about it a little bit about like the possible burnout, and we just keep going. Like I haven't hit a point where I'm like, okay, fine, I guess we'll record. It's always been like, yeah, who's our guest? What are we talking about? All right, we're just going to talk about this bullshit. We just go from there.
And for episode 100, you have the kings of bullshit, Hyacinth Games.
Perfect.
Yeah.
who are coming out with Bullshit 2.0.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
to segue into a real conversation about real stuff.
Yeah, there we go.
Well,
Yeah, so
I figured that actually worked out pretty well. So the guys here are coming out with version 2, or I don't know how you're calling it all of a sudden.
Second edition.
Second edition.
is it just second edition?
That's the type.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
the word. That's the magic word. Second edition.
That's a boring way to do it. All right, fine then. So
Sorry.
Breckage,
Sorry.
second edition.
You want to, revised? What do you want,
Put it
man?
in the
What do you want from
marquee.
us?
Yeah, what do you want?
Wreckage, the Reckoning.
I rename it.
Bigger, thicker, harder.
All right, done.
Is it Anton? Is it too late to stop the printing
Yeah,
and
no, we
get
can
that
stop, we'll
revised?
literally stop it. We'll stop the presses.
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
I mean,
Yeah, Robin, you were helping us
Yeah.
do all this proofreading, and you never once
You never said
put out the idea for the
nothing
title,
about
bigger, thicker, harder.
I was thinking more since you're focusing on like a community aspect, maybe it takes a village.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, but put a sexual spin on that, and we're there. Yeah. So for third edition,
Well, I mean,
Tim
it
gets-
takes a village.
Tim gets the name
There
third
you go.
edition in like 18 years when we have the energy for that.
So, you guys have been working on this a while because Matt has randomly sent me, an edition to read here, a proof copy to read here and there, and I keep meaning to read them, and then I don't, and I feel really bad. And it just happened to work out that Robin, he went for some surgery. Oh, we lost John. But
He'll be
Robin-
back. He'll be back.
Robin went for some surgery and had some time off, and all of a sudden Matt sent me something, and I went, "Hey, Robin, here." And Matt sent me a message like a month later, and he's like, "Oh my God, what did you do to us?"
I think it worked out real well.
We were at the finish line. Now I think we're back at the beginning.
Yeah,
I did not send that email.
I wondered how long I was going to get away with my lies.
Sending that email, Nick, was more work than I was putting in at that point anyway. So
I
I was just watching John, Anton, and Robin just email each other about like style guides and stuff and glazing over.
It's not totally untrue.
So speaking of which, folks, if you are out there and you need a game that needs any type of a proofreader, Robin is your guy. Everybody can use a Robin Horton.
This is not about him. This has been too much about him. So second edition changes.
Oh yeah,
we've added a
lot of stuff.
The rule refinement is probably the biggest draw to people. I mean, we had a lofty ambitions when we did we'll call the first edition, and then it's been a lot of refinement since then. Our community's been really great with that, and now we can I feel like we've really done a lot more with community and campaign, like stuff we always intended to flesh out is actually there and ready for you to play with
in the bigger, thicker, harder edition.
In the bigger, thicker, harder edition. Everything is bigger, everything is thicker, and everything is harder in this edition.
Yes.
And rustier, too.
Yes.
Post-apocalyptic.
So, how much harder?
Comes with a free tetanus shot.
Well, that doesn't sound fun.
I dropped off for a bit. Did you guys explain the community aspects of the new?
No, we were actually just getting started on it.
We haven't actually touched on any substance of any sort yet.
Oh, okay.
Zero. So maybe we should focus on that. So let's talk about the community aspect of Wreck Age. Bigger, thicker, harder edition.
Yeah, episode 100 about how Robin has a nice beard and is a great proofreader.
John has weird fetishes.
All the important stuff.
Why, John? Why do you have to talk about yourself? Why do you have to make it awkward?
He is always doing that.
That's where I thrive. That zone of awkwardness. That's me, baby. So yeah, community. It's an aspect of the new rules that I'm really excited about. Something that I don't think you see in a lot of other skirmish games.
Other skirmish games.
Yeah.
Very definitive statement.
It's true.
None of them. No, but what I like about it for this, and obviously I'm biased because I worked on it, but it gives more meaning to the game that you're actually playing and the tactics and strategies that you use on the tabletop, because what you do during your scenario or during your encounter is going to have impacts on the community that's supporting your crew. So normally, when people play a skirmish game or a pickup game, there's really no context for why the combatants are going at it. And for second edition, we really wanted to give some meaning to not only the crew that you're playing with, but also the community that's supporting that crew. Because for every group of adventurers that are going out and scavenging for scrap or, fighting off drifters or other raiders or, whatever, there's the people that are, building the homestead, they're farming the crops, they're maintaining the herd of animals, what have you. And so those often get overlooked in games, and what we wanted to do was incorporate that into the game mechanics so that those factors actually impact your models on the game table and give meaning to the game. Am I explaining that right, guys? I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
So
that was delightful, John.
So one of the first things is do you have somebody who wanders around your town and tells you another settlement needs your help?
Yes.
No. That guy got killed off.
Okay, good. All right.
And his hat was taken.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
And there's also an inn where all the adventurers move
to. Could you imagine a Fallout 4 RPG, like a tabletop where everything was prefaced by someone from the the Minutemen asking for your help? Just like myself. It's not like you meet in an inn. It's like there's another community that needs your help. Yeah, it would be the worst selling RPG of all time.
I don't know.
Anyhow,
you say it would be the worst selling, but it has the name Fallout. So.
Yeah. So
it's true. That's true.
You could just
it would probably actually be
blank pages and probably still sell some.
I mean, it might be the least played RPG of all time. I could definitely agree with that, but we're selling. I definitely have a distinct love for that series. But now back to another post-apocalyptic series.
Yeah.
So
what, ours? Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, that one.
No.
I do just kind
You
of
guys have a post-apocalyptic game?
Are all
It's post-collapse, sir.
Post-collapse. See? Yeah.
There's not necessarily
the thing that John was touching on. So our game's set in the Resurgence, so it's like that kind of stuff is like tenable again. So like you can your community building. The fact that we at least think we've improved upon that. Think, hope, pray. That we've improved upon that is it's been like a driving force for us to do this entire revision anyway. So yeah, it's exciting.
I actually think that the community stuff has added a really interesting spin on things. Kind of like was mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of games that do this. And when I got the opportunity to read this and I came across that community section, it really kind of got me excited about it. It was this kind of new idea. It was something that really showed that you guys focus on story-driven content. Like looking at the very first page of that section, you're talking about motivations and proclivities, or like the second page, about how whether it's civilized or peaceful or chaotic or resourceful, and a lot of that kind of language that is throughout the rest of the book being your character, your player character. It's not just models and things like that. I think you guys really use this to help push the idea of story-driven games. And this is a great tool to help do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to be expanding on all of those aspects and facets of the community later on down the road. But we wanted to kind of get them out and get people thinking about that stuff, and we'll see what kind of feedback we get on it. But we've got a lot of ideas for that kind of stuff as well.
Nice.
Yeah, and touchy-feely stuff aside, which is my favorite aspect to work on. I do think the rules are just that much tighter, and that was the biggest problem. Like Anton worked on the rule set in the first one. He did a great job. It was just like
it was a lot.
It's hard. It's hard to do.
It was dense.
And it wasn't for any lack of effort or anything like that. It's just like we've learned in the last couple of years how to express things. So it's just easier to understand, and we've refined that. So the revision, a lot of the rules may be intact to where they were, but I think they're going to be easier on the page to read, especially after Robin cut all the typos.
They're just a couple.
Yeah. A couple hundred.
Yeah, I'm not saying I kept track, but yeah.
There's a lot.
There may have been counts at the bottom of each page.
He is wishing he charged a half a penny because he'd be a millionaire. Per typo.
Yeah, and I appreciate. Yeah, thanks, Robin, for the input. And if Nick had ever read it, maybe we could hear what he has to think about it.
Oh man, no, I am a terrible scrub. I have not read it.
Oh man.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't even fucking sent to me, so I don't want to hear it.
Ooh.
Oh man, come on, Tim. I thought I'd CC you and Nick on the first one, and then Nick wrote me back. And I was just like, you know what?
It depends on the time of year that you did. It could be that you did, but depending on my day job.
Dude, it was so that first revision was so long ago. It was
all the excuses now. Oh, well, if you send it to me, I think I did. Oh, well, so busy.
I said it depends on when.
Uh-huh.
Tim and I have had several personal phone calls, so I think I would have sent it to him. He's a real sweet guy.
I don't know why you're talking about Tim like that. That's I don't like that. Go away. My Tim, damn it.
Well, okay. So
for people listening, who not probably haven't seen the new rules yet, when we're talking about community and how it impacts the game, that might be kind of like a hard concept to understand because this is a new concept we're including. So to go over it a little bit, communities have things called structures, and structures are paid for with your resource units, which if you're familiar with Wreckage, that's kind of like the point cost / currency in the system. And so when you make your crew of models that you're going to game with, those are paid for with resource units or RUs. And as your crew is successful in completing encounters and objectives and missions, the RUs that they accumulate can then be spent on structures for the community. So, for example, if you're playing a drifter tribe of raiders and you like to strap bombs to your boars and use those to kill your enemies, enemies. Well, you're going to quickly, so you might want to build a boar pen, which is one of the structures that you can have in your community. And through the game cycles, that can produce more boars for you if your community continues to put the costs into feeding the boars and generating new ones. It'll actually generate a boar for you every game cycle. So then you can add a boar to your crew. Other things would be like a warehouse where you could store excess resources. So if you get more resources than you can spend, you can then hold on to them and use them for later and things like that. So it's taking real world concepts and trying to make them into game mechanics that actually have legitimate uses for your crew in the game.
Cool. So I take it with that.
Hopefully
you've got your generic ones, and then there's ones that are specific for each faction.
Yeah, right now
Correct.
in the rule book, most of them are all more general, but we definitely have a lot of ideas and plans for specific ones for each faction. I think there's only a couple in the main rule book that are faction specific, maybe just a small handful, but that's the plan down the road, is to really expand on that.
Yeah, because each faction has a unique ideology and way of living, and seeing the world. So they're gonna gravitate towards different structures. And different goals, So one group might want to preserve things, another group might want to consume and destroy things, and so your community is gonna develop based on the goals of the player controlling it, but also the faction type that it represents. So it's kind of cool. It gives you a lot of options, and you can really imagination and come up with some cool concepts.
Okay,
So-
cool.
Are any of your encounters going to then take place in various people, various players' settlements?
Yeah, that's the idea. You can basically raid people's settlements, and the structures can take place, have some sort of effect on the actual encounter. And some of them are playable. They might have an effect on the play and things like that.
Okay, I like that. Because and other games where you have a home base or something like that, I've always gone, but what if I just want to, randomly during the campaign, just show up to someone's base that they've set up and raid it? And
Yeah. And the long term plan is also to have a line of terrain for all of this stuff. That's sort of this is the first step in that long term goal for us.
Yeah, we do all three of us very much love terrain. Yeah, everyone's talking about long-term ideas we have for adding on to the communities. The nice thing that was about this book, where we haven't really experienced with other releases we have, is we really had to cut down to get to page things. We had more ideas, and many of them I felt fit to print than we could stuff into the thing. Yeah. So it wasn't how do we get to the page count, or how do we get to this, or it was we had more than we liked. That we had way more than we could fit into it.
Yeah, we had
by quite a bit. Yes, and that stuff's all so we got to look at that with with an eye being so what is this gonna what spin-off or add-on can this become? And we should probably say so. The book comes out February 5th, 2018.
Yeah,
we should probably
around the corner
pretty soon.
Yeah, so that's probably something we should say. And it's so it's going to be in print and on.
I thought we were keeping this secret.
Yeah, right.
We're coming out. We're not telling you when it's coming out.
And I was actually reading your email, Nick. So when I was talking about January 22nd, that was the earliest I wanted reviews to come out. So you could put this up whenever you want. It doesn't really matter. We're promoting it whenever. So, if you're going to read it and review it, January 22nd is the earliest you have. Maybe 2019 would be a
now
good
that you're
deadline.
Trying to put me on blast, I probably just won't read it anyways. I'll put even less emphasis on that.
I'm sorry. I'll lay off, Nick. I don't want to have to hug it out at a depth of time.
No, you won't. Okay. It's all right. I just won't read your book. That's all there is to it. Simple.
He's just going to get me to tell him the rules anyway. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you probably at this point, Robin, know him better than me. So,
Honestly, Robin's a machine when it comes to rules. I sat down and read a rule book like 6 times. Robin glanced at the rules half-assed and was still correcting me on them. I was like, fuck you, Robin. Go play some other game. There's cars in the road. Go play with those.
You're right. That is a reflection upon Robin and not you.
So speaking of second edition, bigger, thicker, harder. So obviously the community is a big piece of this. What else has been added into the game or streamlined to really like take Rec Age to the next level?
Squad mechanics is a big one. We had it, so basically it is still a skirmish game and it's designed to be a skirmish game and that's all it's going to be. We're not going to like try to build up the model count and have it be a army game or anything. But the squad mechanics are for crews that have 10, 15, 20 models. So a couple of the newer factions that we didn't really have fleshed out, Church of Fun and the Ark in particular, have a lot of squads. So you can have, them moving in, skirmish type blocks, which I'm sure most tabletop gamers are familiar with. So.
Yeah, the squads for Church of Fun are oftentimes dependent on what drug they're all sharing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. That's exactly what they're dependent on, yeah.
That's fun. So
if you like drugs and you like war games, play Rec Age and play Church of Fun.
Yeah. Join me.
Hi, Tim's mom. Or Tim, did you say your mom was going to be listening to this as number 100? Hello.
Oh, I'm sending this to my grandma.
I was going to send the link to my mom at some point too, and she's probably going to disown me. So
I'm sure you did. Yeah.
She was thinking about it, but waffling back and forth. You know how moms are.
Yeah. Exactly.
The question of how late is
you were left in a couple of hot cars.
Yeah, once or twice. But yeah, getting back to the squad mechanics, they're pretty neat and they're pretty devastating if used right. Like an arc squad can just put out a tremendous amount of damage, but once you start actually inflicting casualties on the squad, it starts running into problems. So it's kind of a new way to play within the existing rules, but I don't think the squads have an advantage necessarily over a non-squad faction. I think it just plays a little differently.
It's a different play style. It suits those factions really well.
It can definitely be disrupted from what I've seen.
Yeah.
So.
And then we did a lot of streamlining of equipment. We added a lot of new equipment. Same with weapons. Weapons got a big cleanup. I think that was one of the big things we did real early on. I think that was actually the impetus for second edition. I think actually was cleaning up the weapons. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, not a lot of people took spears in the first game, but they were magnificent.
They were pretty brutal. Yeah, so a lot of things. Yeah, so you could basically little things like that. You could really min max with things like spears and that we pretty much phased that out. We added a bunch of new armor. We added a bunch of new traits for characters and for weapons. Everything's gearing up for vehicles, obviously, which we had the Kickstarter for last year, the successful Kickstarter. And what else did we add? I can ask John. John, what else did we add?
Well, we added feats. Right,
feats. Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say I can't ask Matt. Let me ask John, and then you went to feats, which is like the only thing I wrote.
Matt.
Yeah, but do you want to explain
feat for us, please?
I do not remember writing it.
So feats are kind of like specialized traits that elite characters can get, and so they're going to be uncommon. I don't know. Elite characters are pretty rare, or at least should be, because they're so expensive for your community to equip and feed and keep around. But when you do have those, highly trained characters, the feats give them an edge on the game table that allows them to do usually a once per game kind of special thing. And there's various ones, that you can kind of pick and choose from if dependent on what the character's focus is, offensive, defensive, etc. But they add
and there's faction specific ones too.
What is that?
There's faction specific ones that will be coming out as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it's just another dynamic for the crews to have that allows them to, differentiate themselves from each other and allow players to have different game options. And so that was a nice addition.
Yeah, it's pretty much a way to flourish your crew's boss, basically. Give him a little extra. You're not going to see any green characters running around with feats, really.
Yeah. And, the combat system's still brutal, so your, expensive, badass, elite character with an awesome feat could still get taken down by a regular green character with a pistol pretty easily. So it's still a gritty, unforgiving combat system. That hasn't changed at all. And I love that about the game. It really feels close to realistic. I mean, anyone's a threat out there. It doesn't, there aren't these heroes just wading into big mobs of goons and taking them out. Like that goon with a stick or the spear, could still take you out if you're not careful.
Nice.
That's
but
cool.
not as effectively as a goon with a spear in first edition because they've been nerfed a little bit.
Those were broken.
All right.
Somebody figured out that a long pointy stick is a great thing.
It only took a collapse for it to happen.
Yeah. And apparently it's a really too good thing, so
not anymore.
Can't have good things. Taking them away. See how it is.
Yeah. The excellent destructive spears that would take down anything have now been scaled back to a regular expectation of a spear, which is not something you want to be stuck with.
No, still bad times.
Nice.
All right, so the vehicles
we're seeing an overhaul in weapons. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yes, sorry, Nick.
I was gonna say, so I heard mention the vehicles. How is that progressing?
It is progressing slowly and surely, and we will have those out probably by Adepticon. The rules are kind of in the can, but then we had second edition, and we had to kind of retrofit everything. So
right, and that's actually kind of what I was wondering, because you were working on all of that last summer, and then you decided you started with the second edition stuff. So
yeah, I don't think we abandoned the vehicles for this. I mean, it was just the vehicles, we had some delays as companies of our size. So
yeah,
whenever we go to something like a Kickstarter, it's because we are challenging ourselves. We're not going to go to a Kickstarter for like box sets of pewter miniatures or something like that. But where we're going to like larger vehicles, that are 3D sculpted, we're challenging ourselves. We're going to go to a Kickstarter or something like that, which is exactly what we did. And the challenge was real. So we're months behind on it, but we've seen results. Like the casts and molds are done. So
it just needs to get produced now.
Yeah. Like we're at production for vehicles after quite a few months of like hand wringing and worrying about stuff like that, and like I said, we're challenging ourselves. So I don't know what the next Kickstarter would.
I think we're also challenging the people that we're working with too. So I think that there's a learning curve on all that stuff for us.
Yeah, and it was cool to see. So when they're in hand, we've seen masters of them and stuff, but when we're actually have like production of the vehicles,
that production actually very soon. So.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
That's awesome.
And the roads are killer. I love the roads.
You kind of someone to death with one of them at Adepticon.
Yeah.
What's that?
Adepticon last year is when those were like prototypes we had just seen when Alex from Ironheart showed up. That was the first day we had physically seen them.
And didn't Anton actually like drive all night to go get some stuff?
Yes, to Indiana.
Yeah. Some of the other stuff for the vehicles.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, having those for sale is going to be a real good thing.
Nice.
And the vehicles, I don't know if you had a question about how they work, but they're going to be kind of like using the same combat mechanics as humans do, but so that they'll have armor values and things like that. They're not going to be totally different from the rest of the game. So it's not like you're
mechanic.
Yeah, the mechanics are very similar, and so I don't think it's going to require a big learning curve for players. They're going to be able to easily incorporate like bikes or buggies or cars or trucks into their crews pretty easily, and
especially bikes and horses. That's going to be very.
So now my question is, with the introduction of communities, can my community consist of vehicles as I drive around?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
There's a faction that basically is that. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, vehicles are basically how you scale up in our game. Like it's not like a mass army game, so like vehicles are the natural way to scale up. So you would be playing a campaign with friends that are like, hey, we're doing this resource unit level. Like you wouldn't be like, hey, I'm just gonna come and you're 4 peasants and we're gonna take your stuff with our tanks.
Well, that doesn't sound like fun.
Unless you've got the tanks.
Maybe for you.
Unless you're the tank guy, yeah.
Well, no, I meant, with Matt saying, you won't just do that. I want to be the tank guy that shows up and says, I'm taking all your shit from the 4 peasants.
Yeah. You can do that. We give you permission, Nick. You can do that.
You give me permission? Aww.
Yeah, Nick, we'll play that out at Adepticon. We'll have a 38-second game. We'll have a 38-second game, and then we'll pick up our toys and we'll go separate ways. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Give me a special scenario.
If you want, I'll cry a little during it.
I mean,
I'll name like everybody in my town.
Nightly calls.
I'll show up with backstories with everybody, and then you can just roll over them with trends. And
exactly.
But you have to make sound effects, or no deal.
There we go. I'm down for this.
You got to go through and Shadowrun 20 questions, everybody.
He's going to download an app for his phone with like bones cracking or something.
Exactly. Screams of people in agony.
I'll just be standing behind him squirting ketchup packets every time he runs one over.
See, I even am bringing a special effects team.
That's dedication.
I think we got something here. I think we need to flesh this out further.
I don't know what else we need to flesh out other than I guess you guys need to get dead bodies sculpted because that's all that's going to happen.
We're actually talking about that oddly enough. So
yeah,
we'll have that for you.
There we go. See? But Anton, you're going to have to drive all night to go pick those up before.
I mean, whatever. That's what I do all the time anyways. Who cares?
That's why we keep them around.
Yeah, no one cares about that.
Nice. So are you adding new factions into the bigger, thicker, harder edition, or are you pretty much sticking with what you have?
So the first edition really only had 4 playable factions, and this one I guess has, what is it, 8 or is it 9 with the fringes, John? Do you?
I want to say
9.
Is
it 9?
9.
Yeah, 9 with the fringes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, don't even ask us. Just ask Robin.
We don't know our own name. Let me just ask Robin. He's the guy with the good memory.
I can't help it. I'm super excited about this.
Really? That's nice to hear.
Double the amount of playable factions. So we've got. I mean, they were all mentioned in the first rule book, but they weren't really. There was like an archetype or a character here or there, and now they're actually all fully playable.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of the factions that we released in first edition were like released with their stat cards that came with the minis and stuff like that. So it was like a bunch of soft releases where it's faster and harder now.
Yeah, exactly.
And thicker. Yeah.
Oh yeah, thicker. Is that the last one?
Yep.
Well, it and uncut is
uncut.
Should be in there.
Uncut.
Ooh.
Yeah. This is the
But you guys can't actually
version.
claim that. You can't claim that because you actually have admitted that you had to cut stuff.
Oh,
That's true. That's true.
Damn
Blame
it.
that on Matt. Matt was the one who said it.
Matt.
Damn it, Matt. Ruining taglines.
Fucking Matt.
This is the first time that I've been pro circumcision in my entire life.
But
Oh shit!
all right, so
sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, so you've consolidated and added some factions in to make them officially playable. You're progressing with all the vehicle rules. Those are going to be out soon, and you've included them into the development of this. I'm actually looking forward to my caravaneer crew rolling around, and actually rolling in what they live in.
You have read the book. You've read the book.
I mean, maybe not. But
he's going to pull down the caravaneer miniatures I sent him. Is what he's going to do. Is what he's going to do. He's like, I have these.
I mean, that qualifies, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of like
primed.
Oh shit! I still want to know when my Stitcher Centaur's coming out.
That's
come on. We're not going to do a Fallout 3 Centaur and get sued.
Oh.
No one said a Fallout 3. We just said
Nobody said Fallout 3.
Said Stitcher.
We could do a bright
No, okay, yeah, okay. Let's put out a Stitcher Deathclaw. See what fucking happens to us. We're dead in the water.
Well, sure.
We should just put out a space marine.
If you're cowardly like that.
Oof. All right, it's a challenge now.
There. This was what I was gonna, show off.
The guys know that like how allergic I am to Fallout. I love Fallout. I love playing the games, but like I almost obsessively play the games, so we don't do any of their stuff. It's also their radiation. It's like retrofuturism. It's completely different anyway. But you never want to.
Matt yelled at me at Adepticon for wearing a Fallout shirt.
At the booth.
It was
my game.
It was at the booth. That's a confusing message to give. And you had a pretty gray on black Wreckage shirt you could be wearing for 3-4 days in a row, and you didn't do it.
Just one shirt for 3-4 days
all that
in a row.
lovely
we're a small company. What do you want a new shirt every day?
So the irony is I got home from work and I went to change and I was grabbing a shirt, and as I unfolded it, I got happy because I saw that it was one of my Fallout shirts, and as I went to put it on, I went, "Wait, I've got the Wreckage guys coming on."
Damn right you did. Good thing you changed. I hope you had to do laundry, and that's why you were late.
I wasn't late. I was here 5 minutes early. Damn it!
I thought he was late.
I just was listening to the BDSM conversation.
All the nonsense we were talking beforehand.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone who's listening to this show is like, wow, what the fuck? But they should have listened, if they were here earlier than that. They probably just wouldn't let this ever air on the internet. So.
Yeah, I don't think we'd get past many censors from the 15 minutes postscript. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say that, the episode would sound kind of like this. Beep, beep.
And then random cackling,
Yes, exactly. That was that stutter in there. It was, that was just the one time when everyone was just laughing too much.
Yeah.
So obviously with the new rulebook coming out on February 5th, you guys got to have some awesome stuff planned for Adepticon besides just writing up a 20-page backstory for 4 characters Nick's going to squash with a tank.
Oh, shit.
What?
I thought that's all we got.
That is the apex.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to just be one tank. It's going to be my whole caravan. It's just going to keep rolling over those bodies. And Matt's
an entire caravan of tanks. We're going to have to change the lore of the game where there's only one caravan of tanks and they rule the entire continent.
Well, all right. No one said that they had ammo. They
drive from coast to coast, rolling over people. But no, to answer your question, yeah, we have some a cool event set up for Adepticon.
Oh yeah.
Called No One's Ark. It's a play on Noah's Ark. Basically, one of us is, I think me, I'm going to be running some Ark hard suits, which are like Ark battle armor. And it's going to be an all comers. You bring a crew and you try to kill the horrific battle suits that are just mowing everyone down. So we're going to be showing off basically how Ark plays.
With the squad.
Be showing off the new squads, things like that.
Also, in addition to.
Yeah. Yes, we're doing a tournament. That's right. Matt,
nice. So even with everything going on with the second edition, where you guys are really pushing the story lore, you still have like a tournament style of gameplay.
Yeah.
For those that just want to do the one-off.
Yeah. No, there's one-off games. There's campaign play, and then there's like the campaign play with community building. So you can kind of choose your flavor there.
Yeah. If you just want to throw down some figures and go at it, you can.
Oh, I said and tournaments.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, and tournament play, and and then off flavor, but there's RPG stuff down the road too. So.
Right.
Not really the reason for the season we're here tonight, or Adepticon.
Right, but the fact you guys are doing an RPG does make my pants fit funny in a good way.
Did we?
Well, when it's ready for some proofreading and some comments, I'm going to have to send it to you, and then you can disregard it, and we'll talk about it next year.
And kick it over to Robin, and then
exactly, we'll kick it over to Robin. Robin will tell us it's awesome. You'll tell us it's coming out. We'll go, oh shit, we should have read that. Let's make it up to them, and put them on the podcast.
That works out.
And you'll come on, and you'll get to see our look of wonder. We'll get to talk about possibly.
It's like we're seeing small children like see things for the first time every time we're on the show. It's great.
It is kind of like seeing small children every time you're on the show.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And now we're on a list.
I'm pretty sure you were already on that list.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And that's they need Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, we're definitely on that list.
You doing pirates there? What are you painting up there?
Right now, actually, I'm painting up barricades and all that for the pirates.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that Blood and Plunder game?
It is. It is the Blood and Plunder game.
Cool. I like that they have big ships, big ship models. That's neat.
For those of you in the audience, we are doing this video chat, and we're looking at what he's painting.
Yeah.
And it's adorable.
It is, isn't it? It's so
cute. It really is.
It is cute.
Look.
Video makes for great audio.
I'm totally brushing. Look at that. Oh, nice and slow-mo for you guys.
Oh, so sensual. Wait, slow down. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Yeah.
How about this? Like, how much time do we have left? Could we just...
we're good.
Could we just describe what he's painting for the audience for the rest of the time? I think that'll be well spent.
He's getting a couple ships ready to run over a crew later on.
Yeah, I've got a crew this weekend that they're going to be in the water, and I'm going to row right over them. I arrange this for all the different conventions I go to. I mean,
I'm seeing a theme here.
I got big ships. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that like a
big ships cannot lie.
What is going on?
Yeah, sorry, Nick. That joke's dead in the water.
Oh yeah. Also, Anton is not
Robin finished
looking through video, so he can't even see the great painting.
Yeah,
so
I'm
Nick
not
is
even
doing.
sure what Anton's doing. That's the funny part. Matt's like half in frame. John is like trying to deep throat his camera. And Anton's like got his camera facing away from him and against a wall.
I'm showing off my nice 5 head here. Come on.
So out of the three of us, out of the three of us, you with those descriptions, who do you trust most?
Anton.
Shit.
Oh, you're fucked.
I was gonna say, with the way that Anton's camera is just like randomly showing shit, I think he's in the fucking Blair Witch Project. But you know.
He's just staring in a corner, kind of shifting.
I'm just nervously pacing.
There's handprints all over his wall.
Here, I'm gonna turn my camera away from me now.
I mean, all you had to do was tap it, and it turned away from you. That's amazing.
Oh shit!
Sick, yo.
So how about that Wreck Age game?
Yeah. What about it?
What?
It's D6. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's it.
I realized that we didn't even give a brief overview of the game when we started.
Not even a slight bit.
No,
it's like, everybody knows Wreck Age.
Well, we've been on with you guys. This is like our fourth time now. I think everybody should know. If
everybody should, but sometimes
2.5% of your
even if we only have 3
us.
listeners, the same ones that we had last year, maybe somebody will accidentally hear it.
I believe the previous episodes were like 51 and 53, give or take. Totally not because I went and listened to them yesterday just to make sure.
Everyone is prepared.
He is thorough.
I was
what did I tell you about this?
I got really shit about that.
So should we start?
Yeah. So what are the chances of years from now, Robin's going to have a museum with our bodies just preserved?
Well, I
do. There's going to be a little plaque. It's going to be very thorough about what we did with our lives, but that's how we die.
I can 3D.
You know what?
That plaque is thorough of what we do with our lives. If it's based upon this recording, it's going to be rap sheets.
Well, no. It's going to be a nice plaque and all that, but it's going to say taken from Cobb County Prison.
Not much comes back out of there.
You know what? Mentioning that, that kind of scenario made me think of, what would probably be a really awesome scenario for Wreck Age. Especially like the RPG portion, you stumble upon this thing and you go in and there's a really old person that's taking care of these really kind of creepy sarcophagus vault things that have frozen heads in them. One might say, Walt something and...
So you want
as
us
long
to
as I can have Robo Nixon, I'm good.
Yeah. You want us to write Futurama into the game? Is what you're saying.
If that's what you're thinking.
That's cool, man. It's great. We'll do that.
So what you can end up doing is...
I know what I'm doing with Stitcher Golem A.
There you go.
Except for, the caretaker has a red beard,
Is his name Elon Musk? It's like, what's like? Bring it home, man! Bring it home.
Actually, I've never seen that episode of Futurama. So,
with the heads,
Robo Nixon.
It's what the heads? I mean, there's all the heads.
One episode.
That's in like every episode.
Yeah,
sure.
Every celebrity that they want.
Yeah,
but the heads aren't actually frozen. They still talk and all that shit. No, I was making a Walt Disney.
The heads are us, right? Thanks. In this, and the guy's Robin. Is that where you're going?
Wow, man!
It's good.
I guess this is what I get for actually talking during an episode. I'm just gonna go back to my painting now. Tim, you know what? I'm just gonna burn that shit that we got sent. From.
Wait, we got sent things?
Well, I mean, he emailed it to us.
That's not sending.
How do you burn an email?
You print it. I said print it out. I did say
control the whole laptop, right?
Control P and Control F.
Yeah,
it just burns.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Oh.
So one of the things I'm kind of excited about with the community stuff.
What was that, Robin? You're actually getting back on track. I'm sorry.
Kind of pulling it back on track a little bit. One of the things I'm kind of excited about with the community stuff is you kind of you can combine some of these things with the random encounter concepts, right? So in the game, you've got some of the random encounters where you might have a character that shows up on the board, whether it's a Stitcher doc or some sort of wastrel or a gunsmith or that kind of stuff. You could do a similar thing with some of the structures that you've got. So kind of like how Nick wants to go raiding somebody's village for stuff, you could use structures as campaign incentive. So if you're building out a campaign map of some sort, you could say, hey, I want to go raid this NPC village that has a chemist lab in it, and use that as kind of a bonus incentive to help improve your crew and your community.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so we go raid the NPC lab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can go be narcs and take out the drug lab, and then claim it all for yourself, obviously, because you're Church of Fun. And that adds kind of a nice element to the kind of campaign development. So if you're the kind of player that has a group that likes to have campaign maps and there's people taking over territories of different things, you could kind of do this Company of Heroes, Dawn of War, if you're into those kind of computer games, where each territory has some sort of perk or bonus that you get in addition to just decimating your enemies,
right,
seeing them driven before you, lamentations, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. And like one of the random encounters like this is a survivalist villa that's, just loaded out with food and weapons and, supplies and things like that. And you could totally build an entire campaign after you encountered it and found it, an entire campaign about either trying to claim it for yourself or maybe someone else moved in and taken it away from them. So yeah, absolutely. The structures can really aid in campaign development, both for the players and also for the person running the campaign. I think it takes a little bit of the load off them too.
Anton wrote the Survivalist Villa, and then I was reading it, and I was like, "This is his dream home." This is definitely his dream home.
It is. It's not a lie.
So with the random encounters and things like that, like obviously the Survivalist Village, going back to that, we're going to find Anton hanging out in the middle of it. But so you mentioned NPCs and things like that. So how does that work in a game? Like, are they just neutral people that two people, if like Nick and I are playing and we're about to fight and whatnot, and Anton comes walking out with a gun, do we just like gun him down, or how does that work?
Is this like real life? Wait, I don't understand what's going on. Yeah,
kind of. I mean, if we're going to go that route,
so basically, narrator-controlled characters are. So you've got the narrator, who's the person who's going to be running the campaign. So narrator-controlled characters are all of those characters that are not controlled by one or the other player, and those will activate usually at the end in the end phase, which is the end of each turn, and then they do whatever things the narrator has declared for them to do. It might just be fighting, moving. They might have some sort of plan. They might be scavenging something. They might be trying to steal something from you or defend something, or whatever it is they're doing. But they're typically going to go at a disadvantage at the end of every turn, typically.
Okay, so
and there are scenarios where it's what they're going to do each turn is pretty much defined.
Predetermined. Yeah. It depends on the scenario. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like there's going to be ones like always goes for the table edge and things like that. And there will be ones where it's a little bit more on rails, but oftentimes it's a little more thematic, which is fun.
It's also up to the people who are who are playing the campaign, how they want to play them too.
Right.
Okay, so with the campaign system, there's a little bit more work that goes into this than compared to, say, I know we were talking about it before the podcast started, but like a Necromunda, like classic campaign, where it's like, well, we're just going to play through these scenarios, and really the narrator, the TO, is basically just there to say, okay, Robin killed this many people.
Right. So
it's
the way that it's designed is you play. I mean, typically the way I would encourage people to play is you play the random encounters to learn the game. You learn the rules. You play the basic encounters or the random encounters, and then when you jump into the campaign, you kind of fill it in however you want to play it. So if you want to play a very simple version, you can just use those encounters. There's 6 encounters, and there's like 6 flavors of the 6th one, I think. So it's around 12 encounters. you can just link those together in any way you want. And we also have a bunch of additional scenarios and encounters on our website. So you can kind of string those together in any order that you want to play a campaign. But really, the with the structures and with the cycles and all these other things, what it's designed to be is more of like almost like an open source campaign system where you can kind of plug in the different parts that you want to use for your campaign and design the exact, like, there is not specific rules, like Robin was bringing up maps. Maps are specifically mentioned, but there's not maps in the book. If you want to play a map campaign, like, all of the stuff is right there for you to be able to play that. But it's not like, here's exactly how you play a map campaign, but
right.
You can kind of format the campaign in any way you want.
If you do a map campaign, send us the map because we want to see it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But that's exciting from like our point of view. Like, so like, yeah, as he put it, it's kind of like your mileage may vary. There's different tiers. Like you were talking about one-off games, there's campaigns where you might just use pre-built scenarios or make your own, or just have them be firefights and see who, like a Necromunda more traditional campaign. And then there's the community building aspect that you can add into it as well. Like there's those different tiers, and as Anton put it, we recommend you to do the most in-depth one, but you may not have time for that. We don't know what time you have.
Yeah. Bullshit. You people will find time.
You're going to buy everything, and you're going to play everything.
And you're going to like it.
I think there was supposed to be hauntingly odd music at that point in time.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
my mind control failed. God damn it! I'm always rolling fails on the mind control. And we were saying before, like, oh yeah, it's not like a giant war game, but you could scale it up. We got like 150 miniatures. You can just buy them all, put them all out, do whatever you want with them. We won't stop you.
No.
Does this go back to the cutting and fucking we said in the beginning?
I think it did.
Okay, yeah. I think it did.
I'm not going to say. I dare you to see how many Wreck Age miniatures you can fit inside yourself, but
but send me a note with a number. My email is matt@.
Is that a goal for the Church of Fun or the Stitchers? I'm getting confused now.
I think it more fits with
that's
Church
a good
of Fun.
question.
So actually, that does kind of make me think of some with some of these different factions. Yeah, I know, right? With some of these different factions, you got a lot of plans in the future and a lot of things that are coming out that'll end up happening for structures and more archetypes and things like that. Are you going to see more kind of cross blending of the different factions with certain archetypes?
What do you mean?
So, like, you've got a couple of archetypes that can maybe be unique to certain ones, like an archetype that might be drifter and staker focused, or one that might be Church of Fun and Stitcher for whatever reason.
So they're like, are you asking if a faction specific archetype can be used by a different faction?
Not necessarily. Like, are there going to be more dual purpose faction archetypes or dual faction archetypes?
So archetypes that might be for multiple factions,
right? Not just all per se, like not being wholly open, but being a little more selective. And like, are you guys going to do a bit more of those?
Yeah, even from their motivation, yeah. Like, there's going to be Stitchers when we flesh it out more that are going to be a little bit more like innocuous with what they're trying to do. Like yes, they need organs to sustain themselves, but no, they may find a way to attach themselves to a staker community in order to be like, when someone dies and I couldn't help them, then I get their organs. Okay, like that. Like, so we're gonna, like, as far as like hybrid stuff, yes, it's gonna be specifics, and it's gonna be kind of like it's going to be one of those things where like the group is going to usually have to agree on it, but that's something that we've always kind of wanted. Like, we want every faction to be good and bad, but like some of them are more bad and some of them are more good.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Like the Stitchers themselves are not like straight up Cenobites.
No.
No, yeah, exactly.
Everybody's human, so they come with the good and bad of all humans. So they could be the worst of us, or they could be the best of us, depending on how you want to play it.
Yeah.
So, so Robin, did that answer your question, or are you asking more specific about? Are you asking if archetypes will be like cross faction?
No, I think that kind of gets to my main curiosity point, because that's going to really kind of enhance some of the flexibility between what you can play, and kind of offer some more replayability or blending of different styles of play, depending on your personal preferences and what kind of really gets you going with your particular game.
Yeah, and I think
I would definitely say a lot of that stuff's going to be outliers, and like we're going to want the factions to be defined to an extent, but I think shifting sands between stuff, or like one or two different archetypes can go between different factions. That's something we're definitely going for. Like we've even started it with like the Drifter No Ghost, which can be hired by anyone pretty much other than drifters.
Yeah, and that's really what the fringes are. Also, the fringes are kind of like the archetypes that just about everybody can hire. There are some limitations. Like some of those archetypes cannot be hired by specific factions, and some can only be hired by specific factions. But that's sort of the bridge between the different play styles. So you can kind of have a faction that's mainly like these mercenaries or these vagabonds or whatever, or you can have a faction that's much more structured. You can have a faction that has squad mechanics, and those squad mechanics could be further broken down to be very organized, like the ARC squads. Or they could be more of like a rabble mob, like the Church of Fun squads. So there's, even within each of those individual archetypes or archetype styles, there's going to be a lot of different play styles available to you.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to put it. And so the fringes are going to be the catch-all for that kind of stuff, where it's going to be like the outcasts and like the like the Island of Misfits toys from people that maybe were part of a faction and no longer are, but then can work with factions, every faction other than the one that they had worked with before. But we're still going to try to. I don't know if limit is the correct word, because we're trying to have a nice sandbox here. But like, it's something that we're going to think about. So we don't want everything to be just vanilla. We do want there to be factions as they are. You could just do a fringe faction and kind of pick and choose from that, especially down the line when we've got more of that released. But we, especially for the tabletop game, I think factions is the way we're going to go, and you're going to see more bonuses staying in faction than going outside of it.
That's the incentive, and that's also the incentive for archetypes, because you can create a character without an archetype. You can just say, I want a trained person with this weaponry and these traits, but it's going to end up costing you more resource units. So when you pick the archetype, you get the bonus of getting certain traits for free, certain equipment for free, but then you're limited to your additional traits. You can't be like, so it's an attempt to foil min-maxing, essentially. So you can't get someone who's good at everything or abuse the system. That's the design style. That's the reasoning behind the design of the archetypes.
Like Nick's archetype is someone who really loves doing hit and run accidents. Just running over
heavy
someone.
Quotes on accidents.
Yeah, accidents.
I don't like to define them as accidents. More like intentional incidents.
I can't think of a good name of it. You can't say hitter and runner. That's bad. We're gonna have to seriously sit down and brainstorm the name of this archetype, Nick, for this specific type of person who just wants to run vehicles.
See,
over people who have hopes and dreams.
You know what we should actually do? I know what we should do at Adepticon. We should get a big kind of dome or something like that, and there's a bunch of cars, and it looks like it's got to be a crash derby, but instead you release a bunch of innocent people in the center, and you say if you don't get run over and you get out, you're free.
Then you get to be an archetype.
Nick, I've got an idea, because my life is not worth a lot. At Adepticon, you rent a car
We'll just do it
maybe with some kind of I'll lay down in front of the car and you can just speed bump me for like 20-30 minutes.
That's no fun.
Yeah,
just death race style.
Yeah, just
you're not even going to be a moving target. You're just going to lay down.
No, I'm just gonna lay down. I'm gonna count to 10 until I can no longer count to 10, and then I die.
See, but that just sounds like suicide. That's no fun. Where's
no,
the
because
hunt?
you're doing it to him. It's not suicide. It's murder.
It's assisted suicide because he's willing to lay down and let me do it. That's what I'll tell the cops. All right, come on,
right.
Help me build the alibi.
All right, what do we have to do to sweeten the deal? It's not a car; it's a dirt bike.
I think we need to keep this more on theme and use capybaras.
Yes.
Yeah, capybaras are really on theme. Like for the RPG the other day, I sent them a text about how there's a certain tick that bites capybara that gives spotted fever to human beings, and it was immediately in the RPG book. I was just like, yes, capybara are the foodstuff of the future in Wreck Age because cows got eaten up.
Yeah. So think about that.
They should, because cows are delicious.
delicious little packs of rodent meat, and
adorable furry rodents. Yeah.
I think I've paid out of pocket for every capybara sculpt, and will continue to do so for the future of our company because I love those little bastards, and I think that they need to be a part of our miniature line going forward and forever.
Are you just going to change the name from Hyacinth Games to Capybara Games?
We could do a capybara game.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a climate change event that destroys everything. Everything's wetter and hotter. Capybara are already in Florida. Harder. Yes, wetter, harder, less circumcised, whatever. But capybara are already been like they're capturing them in Florida and euthanizing them because they're just swimming over to Florida. Like, do you think if like the collapse of civilization where like everything was kind of bayou would stop giant rodents from coming over? No, and then we would eat them up.
Yeah,
about as quick as they could breathe.
I mean, they get to like 140 pounds. That's a pretty good size.
They do get very large.
That's roughly the size of a teenager.
Yeah, and if you've ever eaten a teenager, it takes 3-4 days if you're famished.
They get all whiny and shit, though. Capybaras.
I usually can't finish them. I end up having to make soup, and it gets
I mean, you should see my walk-in. My walk-in freezer has so much angst. It is ridiculous.
But how many frozen heads do you have in there?
Less than Robin.
Yeah. So when are we going to start seeing capybara races as a scenario in the game then?
I think we actually have that on the website, don't we?
So there's it's not a race, but it's a scenario called Rat Patrol, and it's basically two different factions like come across, and we've got a YouTube video of this one too, which is nice too. Like it's a like of us doing a bat rep, not of us hunting capybara. But it's two it's like there's a river in the center and two factions like come across capybara, and they're basically just trying to hogtie these capybara or shoot each other with lasers depending on how they want to do it. So it's like a little group of like a pod, if you will, of capybara, and so like they're already a part of the scenarios, and hopefully a great many more.
And they're actually fun miniatures to paint up.
That sounded like a threat. I just want to point that out.
There will be capybara in Wreck Age.
I've been threatening Anton about stuff for so long, he just reads in like threats anytime I say anything now. There will be more capybara.
We're going to make the capybara king, where it's this giant capybara.
Anton's going to show up to Adepticon with 4 fingers, and everyone's going to get it. It's just scars and 4 fingers. As we announce the Wreck Age Edition 3, the capybara version.
It's going to come in a fur-bound cover.
It's like Mouse Guard, but it's much bigger.
Wow.
Post resurgence, the humans are gone. It's the capybara have taken over.
Oh, this derailed.
I don't think it was ever on the rails.
When was this on rails? Come on.
Yeah, no, it never.
Should we start the interview now?
Satan stopped by a little while ago and he went, "Fuck this shit. Even I can't deal with it."
Yeah.
Out.
I'm having a lot of fun. You guys should be really proud of episode 100. I think you guys nailed it.
Yeah. Should we sing you guys like happy birthday, or what are we doing here for episode 100?
That's a good question. We didn't even talk about that.
No. Actually, until I went to
You're assuming there's preparation.
I didn't realize it was episode 100.
Actually, you know what? For episode 300, someone can kick me into a well.
It has to be recorded live.
I got a sinkhole on some family land out here.
There you go.
There we go.
I don't know how far down it goes right now.
As I said before, your mileage may vary. That's fine. We'll use that.
Where do we go?
Together, best comments on this, and just use it for like a trailer, right?
Oh, shit.
I like it.
So we talked about the game for like 5 minutes. It was good.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I think it sounded like a fun game when we talked about it.
Yeah,
right.
We covered the release date. It's February 5th.
Yes.
Reviews are.
We should preface that we should have prefaced. Now it's the end, but we are all buddies. So I'm glad that we were your number 100 and 56 and 55.
No,
I was really looking forward. Oh well, shit! My immersion is ruined now. I was looking forward to this all day. I was like at work, being a drone, and I was like, you know what I have to look forward to? Skirmish Supremacy. I can't say that about every night of the year.
I still have fun memories of last year's episode that I was on. So yeah, I still reflect on it from time to time. Our deep conversation about Malort, that was great,
dude.
And then
they didn't even get to hear.
Come back.
Was this before or after I sent you the Malort? Was this after?
It was.
I think
you
it
had sent it to me,
day.
but I hadn't tried it yet. I think was the.
Oh, okay. Sorry, everyone that's here to talk about miniatures, but John's going to talk about Malort right now.
Let me tell you about this shitty alcohol.
It's already a totally different tune. John was like, "I'll drink anything. Come on."
Yeah.
No, you know what? I actually started to like it towards the end of. Okay, so listen to episode 53 because then there I talk about my bachelor party where we were drinking Malort or planning to drink Malort. But yeah, over the course of a 3-day weekend bachelor party, I had enough of it that I actually started to like it, and that kind of scared me. So
it tastes like Listerine that went bad.
It has a grapefruit gasoline taste to me. Like there's some citrus in there.
All right, so
yeah, doesn't that sound great, everybody? Don't you want to?
I was like, John, what do you
take a swig of gasoline and take a bite of grapefruit? That's Malort right there.
You're about to get married. What would you like? And he goes, I'd like several bottles of Malort, which so Chicago's got a very large Eastern European community. So Malort it tastes like orange rinds and absinthe. It's the worst thing you could possibly taste. And I was just like, are you sure you want this? So I think I sent you 2 shitty bottles and 1 nice bottle. Which,
no, there's two Jepsons. You sent me
2 Jepsons. I sent you the classic, which is garbage. And I like FedExed him this Malort, and I was like, this is the biggest waste of money ever. And like Chicago, like it's cheap and like Chicago. It's a very Chicago Polish thing. So like I'm sure Anton's family loves it. I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
but not himself. I hate it, and I will drink. What's that?
They don't love me.
They don't love you. They don't love you. They love Malort. It is so it's a very Polish drink, and we've got a very big Polish community here, and it's become like a badge of honor as a Chicagoan to like just choke down Malort until you like it, and I just refuse to do it. So when he was just like, I heard about this on my a local radio show, and I was just like, don't do it, man. Just do not do this. He was just like, no, he was very insistent. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm FedExing you 2 bottles of it right now.
Well, the whole point of it was to be a punishment for my friends. Like,
yeah,
we
exactly.
We did a 3-day long gaming marathon, and basically the Malort was a way to undo bad things that happened in the games. And so it was priceless, and the gift paid off when I saw the look on my friends' faces, you know, when they were taking their 3rd or 4th shot and just kind of crying like that. That made it worth it. So thank you, Matt. You actually made that party.
Oh, it's terrible. It's like if you went to like an air purifier, like a fresh scent thing that's plugged into your electrical outlet and just drank it, and it got you drunk. It is that fucking vile.
If you dropped an orange slice in bong water and then drank that.
All right, you know, John, since you love it so much, I'm gonna make you fucking drink it the entire time you hear it at Adepticon. That's all you can
do. Do it. Let's go. Challenge accepted.
Yeah. And that goes for
John,
Nick,
nice
Robin, and Tim.
Yeah. All right, Robin, save a space in your sinkhole for my corpse, because I'm going down.
See, Matt, when we kick you in on episode 300, you'll have padding at the bottom.
That's
true. And a bottle of Malort.
But I mean, now that
what is that, like 2.5 years from now? How long do I have to live?
What? We're at years now, so.
Oh shit! You know what? You're just gonna do 5 episodes a day. And I'm gonna
Speed this shit right up.
So I'm pretty sure we can beat a 300 by Adepticon. So.
Nice.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm ready.
It's gonna be a lot of.
I know you're ready.
Reflection and recording yourself while you're taking a dump.
I mean, I don't think anyone that's listening to the show doesn't know that you're ready. You've already offered to go lay down in the parking lot and let me run you over. Now you're offering.
That was the same offer. That was the same offer.
It's the same offer.
More refined.
It became more.
He's just offering it again in a different package.
Yeah.
Bigger, thicker, harder.
Rec
Age, 2nd edition, uncircumcised.
Hyacinth Games, folks. Hi.
Well, you got the high part right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Is anyone even drinking?
No.
Yes.
Not today.
Matt, you don't count.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever talked to you even in the middle of the day and you've been sober. So.
I am sober in the middle of the day, but
you said that with a little bit of question in your voice. You weren't sure.
A little bit of question.
Let's not be rude.
Oh wow.
How to end this though? You guys can blush? Are we at the?
It's been so awkward. Can you build breweries in your community?
Yes,
a group of friends talking.
You actually can.
Why are we not surprised that Matt insisted on that?
But no hemp farm. I need to get that in there.
What the hell is wrong with you, John? How did that not get in there?
You did lose your ability with making the.
I'm actually feeling kind of like I missed a chance there. All right, well, the next book.
That's for the expansion.
I mean, You included mushroom compost,
There's
greenhouse,
mushroom
and seed
composting.
bank.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
I mean, you kind of went all around it, but you didn't actually go for it. Just a bunch of teasing around the edge.
You even went straight out meth lab. You're just like, oh yeah, a whole warehouse full of chemicals.
True.
We found that survivalist hut. We found all his Sudafed.
Did we lose Matt?
All I see is somebody holding a tiger. So
I think that's a young Matt.
Oh, that is a young Matt.
That's a creepy Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a young Matt holding.
Is that a high school Matt? That looks like a high school picture. I don't know. All right. I don't know. You want me to vamp? I can vamp. You guys want me to tell you how warm it was in LA today? I got nothing.
All right.
Jeez.
Well, I mean, now with Matt, the whole life of the party's gone. Jeez.
Oh wow, really? Just
kind of.
He just left.
Well, I mean, he's gone, and everyone's just like, well, we don't know what to say now.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
I think most of them were answered.
They're all answered. All right.
I don't know. I don't know if we're that interesting, Anton.
I know I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. So yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think.
I feel like you should just turn the volume down on these last 5 minutes, progressively, a little bit of
just slowly ramp out, and then we're like, bye, folks.
So yeah.
If anyone's still listening at this point, my hats
condolences.
off to you. Yeah, you are a trooper.
Or you're taking a big shit, or someone threw you in a sinkhole.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say
you're trapped in an elevator. You got nothing else to do. Listening to us ramble on like idiots. Yeah.
You know what?
Well, shit on that note.
Right.
I think I'm gonna have to con you guys into, if anyone can tell us what a young Matt is holding in his picture, we'll send you something. The first person to comment.
Ooh, okay. Didn't we already answer it though?
Well, yeah.
I guess
they're not
going to have
see
to listen to that last 5 minutes of rambling bullshit.
Exactly.
That's true. Nobody's going to pay attention to what we were saying in the last 5 minutes, so that's true. All right.
So
and Matt's completely gone now. Oh wait, no, he joined the video call again, I think.
Well, he did come back. It says that he joined.
Yeah, I see his picture.
Yeah, it came back.
I'm back. I'm back. I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm very sorry. I got disconnected.
We're is your profile picture from high school? We've been trying to figure that out.
Oh, the one with the tiger picture?
Yeah. Oh, you just fucked it up. There goes our giveaway.
Bleep it out. Bleep it out.
Bleep.
I mean, I can see my own avatar on here. No,
right.
that was like 10 years ago. I don't know.
Oh, okay. You just look very young there. I just assumed. And you look like you're.
I hear I'm looking until I grew a beard, which is not a great beard. It's no Robin beard.
Wow.
I heard I had a baby face.
Yeah, gotcha.
That's what you guys wanted to talk about while I was gone.
Well, I mean, we were wondering what the molester was in the picture, and then Anton said that looks like a young Matt, and we were like, oh, well, it makes more sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go fuck yourselves, all of you.
I mean, you're the one who came back for the abuse, and then we made a giveaway of your picture.
And you know what?
To be fair, he wants you to run him over with a car.
You know what? I would make the same decision over and over again. Just keep it coming.
We just got to be.
Do you still have that painting you're holding?
No, I have another one by him that's polar bears. That was a guy I worked with that learned how to paint in prison, and he's pretty good. Yeah,
yeah.
But that one was that tiger was not. No, that was his worst work. I thought it was funny.
All right, so now I'm changing it. what is the painting that Matt now currently has? If anyone actually makes it to this point and answers that, we'll get you sent something. Matt, you can't say it again though.
Yeah,
he's trying.
Now
I know. He's just like, I'm just going to be quiet.
Like he's about to blurt it out.
He totally doesn't understand what happened while he was gone. So we made a giveaway out of your picture because we don't figure that anyone has actually made it to this point in listening. So
yeah, if they've all checked out by now.
If somebody actually can tell us what you're holding, well, now the new picture that you have, then we'll send them something Rec Age. So we'll have to see.
Are we waiting for them to answer? Is that why everyone's very quiet?
No. We're waiting for your response. We're basically waiting for you to say "fuck off." Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad. This is bad radio, my friends. This is bad radio.
Dial in
those
now.
two are the professionals. I just.
Whoa! We don't use words like
Nobody
that.
said throwing around accusations.
Well, you know what, guys? I had a great evening with you. Skirmish Supremacy. I do. But you know what? I would maybe be in your episode 150. I think I need some cooling off between now and then, though.
Oh, burn.
That
little running over with a car.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't choose how he wanted me to die, and I had to choose it myself. And that hurts.
Okay.
alcohol poisoning is not an acceptable way.
And that was my own choice. Got it. That's cute. That's cute. It's too bad you can't OD from weed, John.
I know, huh? Isn't that awesome? He just wants to.
He's gonna try though.
That's right.
That's just called a house fire.
Did you guys ever play Shadowrun 3rd Edition where they had a thing called deep weed? It was a magical strain of weed that you could relive your memories when you smoked it. It's so stupid.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Look for that as a structure coming
eat like 4 dwarves for no reason.
Yeah, like deep weed was their new weed name.
Was there really something called deep weed in Shadow?
Yeah, deep weed. And then instead of having cocaine, they had Nova Coke. It's like, are you just going to add something in front of it?
It was the marijuanas. Not even once. The devil's lettuce.
Devil's lettuce. I like that.
So February 5th, Rec Age 2nd Edition. It's going to be fantastic. You're going to be hearing a lot about it. That's probably why you're here. You're not here to listen to Skirmish Supremacy. You're here to talk about Rec Age now.
Exactly.
Because it's so hyped. And we just can't wait to sell all of it to you.
All of it.
Rec-age.net is our website. And I'll see you at the Church of Fun.
Done.
I'm not saying we're done. I just thought that there was some things that we should recap so we can make some money off of this.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Whoa. People are trying to make money.
Matt's trying to make some sales here. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can understand. He's got capybaras to fund, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They're gonna freeze to death next winter, but I'm gonna get some this summer. Put them in a little kiddie pool and see how it goes.
All right.
They won't saddle themselves.
Oh boy. Well, folks, as much as fun as this has been, I do feel that it's time to wrap this bad boy up.
What?
Now? I mean, we were just
on the road. What are you talking about?
Hey, fuck off. Some of us have to be up at 4:30 in the morning.
That's your problem, not ours. We're your guest. I say we go for another 2 hours.
Our fight is a lot earlier than yours.
We'll leave it open, and
yes,
you just
the post recording.
Go wherever when you're done.
That's something I heard.
Have to go home,
that's something I heard too often growing up.
Jesus.
All right. Well, thank you for having us on your 100th episode. That was really cool.
Yep. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure having you, I think.
Yes. So folks, this is going to wrap up episode number 100 of Skirmish Supremacy. Please do not give this episode to the authorities. We will see you next time. Bye! Thanks for listening to another episode of Skirmish Supremacy. To see more of the antics that Nick and I do, you can check us out on Facebook at Skirmish Supremacy. We also have Twitter, which we can be reached at Skirmish Supreme, because apparently Skirmish Supremacy does not fit in Twitter. And if you want to email us directly, you can reach us at tim@skirmishsupremacy.com or nick@skirmishsupremacy.com. Thanks for listening.